Hello everybody, Shinjo here, welcome back to the channel, and we are getting closer to Pokemon Day. Although I feel like there was something missing in 2023. Oh yeah, a tag video! So, since Birdkeeper Toby is officially not posting anything on YouTube at the moment, Elite Trainer Lynn has taken it upon themselves to do their own tag video. And they have 10 questions to ask, and this goes out to anybody watching this if they want to do this tag themselves. Either make their own video or answer them in the comment section of this video, whatever you feel comfortable with. But these are very interesting questions, and questions that I'm really looking forward to. So, let's begin. First question, what is your favorite Pokemon and your first Pokemon game? So, my first Pokemon game was Pokemon Silver, and my favorite Pokemon is Poliwhirl. I mentioned this in a recent video that I posted about my top 10 favorite Pokemon. Poliwhirl is something that I have always been exposed to, especially from being early on in the anime with Misty owning one, while having a lot of different stuffed animals of them. Plus, even though my mascot's a fire type, I think overall water might be my favorite typing instead. Question 2. What is your favorite and least favorite starter Pokemon? So typically when it comes to these sort of questionnaire things, favorite starter is something that's always brought up, which is an easy one. That one's Totodile 100%. But least favorite is where things get tricky. Because for me, I picked Totodile based off of nostalgia, but as far as least favorite, I'm honestly torn between Torchic and Tepig. And I didn't just pick those two because they're the only other two firefighting starter Pokemon. The more I thought about it, the more I realized that they're two starters that I wouldn't say I love, but I wouldn't say that I hate. While there are Pokemon like Chespin that have a bit of an odd middle stage, I think overall as a line, I really like it. And while Delphox is a bit underwhelming, I've gotten used to its design. But when it comes to Torchic and Tepig, they're both fire types that I like the first stage, but when they evolve into Combuskin and Pignite, I'm not really the hugest fan of them. And while Blaziken is a monster, especially with Speed Boost, the design itself, and especially with Emboars, are still kind of middle of the road for me, I guess, compared to other starters. Question 3. Do you think Pokemon designs overall have gotten worse, better, or stayed the same? Now, for me, I think that they stayed roughly the same. While you have Pokemon like Fungus and Amoonguss and Unova that people are kind of mixed on, you can't really say that that's a lazy design without also admitting a Pokemon like Voltorb is a lazy design. But at the same time, there are recent designs that I don't like, but there are recent designs that I really do like. Obviously, people could be blinded by nostalgia when answering this question, but overall, I think they're more or less the same. I wouldn't say that they outright got worse or better. Question 4. If you lived in the Pokemon world, what city or town would you like it to be? And this is honestly really cool because questions like these are stuff that I don't really think about that much. But if I'd have to pick one, it would probably be Veilstone in the Sinnoh region. I absolutely love the Sinnoh region. I like the look of the city, and I also like the idea of the large shopping center there. I can buy myself all sorts of Yu-Gi-Oh cards there. Question 5. What's an idea for a brand new Pokemon species you've had? So, I don't want to go so bland and say something like a dolphin Pokemon or all these design ideas for animals that people always say that we need, although we technically do have a dolphin now. But what I would like to see is more stuffed animal-based Pokemon. We have Pokemon like Stuffle and Bewear, but I'm talking more inspiration with cute archetypes from Yu-Gi-Oh! Like the Fluffles and even the Melfies. I would love a Pokemon that looks like Fluffle Dog. Question 6. If Pokemon added a new type, what would you want it to be? So, I don't want to be that guy to say sound type because everybody says sound type, but quite honestly, I'd like to see a cosmic type. Although you could argue it's very similar to a psychic type, but I like the idea of a cosmic type because you can incorporate Pokemon like Deoxys and Starmie, although I am just kind of picking psychic types that have a space sort of vibe. But I like the idea of incorporating a space theme mainly because of Yu-Gi-Oh! Go Rush, that I am really excited to see stuff involving space because Go Rush has made that stuff so much more interesting to me. Question 7. How would you fix a Pokemon you dislike? So, when I first saw this question, the initial thing that I thought was a Pokemon like Umbreon, for example. Not that I don't like it, I really like the design, but more just the fact that Umbreon is a Pokemon that is always played defensively, he always runs toxic, he always protects, it's just the same old with Umbreon and it gets kind of boring, but that's more changing its stats and nothing really else. I wanted to mix things up, so while it's not a Pokemon that I absolutely dislike, it's one that I feel could be better. Unknown. The movie made it seem like it was going to be a much bigger deal than what it actually was. So my thought is, give it better stats since it's supposed to be on legendary level, a signature move that's similar to Ancient Power to raise its stats up maybe, and potentially even give it more strengths or weaknesses depending on the letter of the alphabet. That's a bit convoluted, but you get the idea. Just something to give Unknown more of a gimmick than what it already is. Because what do you do with Unknown? Capture all 28 of them and that's it? While I wouldn't say I dislike Unknown, I just feel like it could be better. Question 8. How do you feel about shiny Pokemon that look almost identical to their regular forms? So you got the usual suspects like Garchomp and Gengar, and honestly to an extent Pikachu. It's not as drastic of a change as a Pokemon like Dedenne to its shiny. But at first I didn't really care since I don't really shiny hunt, but the more I thought about it, the more I realized that I don't really like it. Because I have a shiny Gible and a shiny Gabite in Scarlet, but I don't want to evolve it because the shiny just looks so crappy. And also, consider this. Charizard's shiny used to be purple. They went out of their way to change its shiny colors, so I don't see why they can't do the same for Pokemon like Gengar and Garchomp. And my thought? Change Garchomp's shiny to look like Gible's. I think it will be much more appreciated and it would look a lot cooler. Question 9. Ed Sheeran's song Celestial was used in Scarlet and Violet. Do you think Pokemon should use more celebrity collaborations in their games? So that's actually funny because I'm of two minds when it comes to this question. I do like the song, and that's odd for me since I typically don't listen to Ed Sheeran songs. But the song itself doesn't really make sense for that part in the story. And while I think it would be cool to see some different collaborations, it just feels like a bit of a cash grab where they put a famous celebrity's name on this Pokemon game just to get more people to buy it. Although I would like to see a collaboration where a Pokemon insert song is sung by something like a group of Bon Jovi or even Metallica. That would be really wild, but I know that would never happen. And finally, question 10. What regional form would you want for your favorite Pokemon? So like I said at the very start, my favorite Pokemon is Poliwhirl. While it would be cool to have a fire type variant or a fighting type variant because of the boxing gloves, I'd like to see a poison type Poliwhirl. Some frogs are already poisonous, so it makes a lot of sense. Although I would like the idea of a fighting type because of the boxing gloves, but it feels like it's a bit of a cop-out because Poliwrath is already a fighting type. But those are all the questions, but we're not done yet because the tag isn't over until I tag every single one of you watching this video to do this wild encounter tag yourself. This was honestly a lot of fun to come up with answers to these questions because no shade to Birdkeeper Toby or anything for his tags, but a lot of those questions were very surface level. I like the idea of unique questions like the idea of Pokemon designs or shiny colorations. Different questions like that is what I really liked about it and made it really unique. But the link to Lynn's channel and her tag with this video will be in the description of this video. And if you want to do this tag yourself, feel free to tag me in it and I'll be sure to watch it too. If you enjoyed, hit that like button down below, subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you next time. Momentai.